So we're going to go to the north and we're going to find some amazing land races. Two of them is Angalore and Tiger Tail. But we're going to be open for all kinds of surprises because there's like 20, 30 of land races there. So when we have finished the north side, we're going to go a little bit more to the east of Isan. We're going to go to Nakhon and there we're going to meet Prem, old friend of mine, and she's have a little dispensary up in the north there, which is amazing, and all the farmers come and bring the product there. She's a very good link for me, and she's helping government and local people to grow and teaching them how to move on in this new cannabis world. When we're going to arrive there, there's all kinds of different farmers. There's family-orientated craft farms. There's the old commercial ones from the old days. There's new young guys popping up. So there's all kinds of people that we're going to meet. Old school guys and new school guys in the industry. So the first people we're going to meet is Toppie and his father. They own a bunch of fields. And they're going to be our guide, and they're going to help us around and show us some land races. Dust, come back. The owner of the field, the female grower, she's arriving. Maybe come say hello and then we walk with her through the field. How are you? Good? What's her favorite plant?
She loves every.
You like all? And she like the landrace more?
ระห
Or
ว่าง
the KD? Or she like the hybrid more?
ต้นไผ่แล้วก็ต้น and new strain is easy to have more and pace. So she said KD is better here.
For the cross, yeah? And how many plants she grow here?
โอ้กี่ต้นให้แม่อ๋อจะจำได้ก็ more than 10,000
More than 10,000, wow. Is this 5 rye?
5
5 rye. And how many years she growing?
2 years for she.
Yeah. I think she grow longer.
She learned from my dad again. All everything here I speak to my dad, and my dad grow for 5 years. And maybe she see from my dad last year.
Okay, cool.
She decided to grow here.
Can she show us her favorite KD plant?
Oh, Oscar. Mira, red hair. Look this one, how beautiful. Very nice.
What about that red one behind it?
This one.
That one.
The new one she bring here. The red hair is not KD.
No. This is crossed with KD also.
You hear that? He said that the whole black one is still a pure Thai strain.
Oh, yes? This one here? Black mango? Black mango. It's nearly like an orchid in the marijuana, no? Like this one typical one.
That is super. It's beautiful. Really dark blue.
Even here, look, everywhere. Look, it's open to get the water and the air through, man. Oscar, come your hand. Look, put your hand up. Yeah, I was super excited also to see that great strain. the black mango growing in her field. We got some nice seeds from that, and you're looking forward to work with those. And then you can see again another landrace growing up here. There's so many that popped out in the last 30 years, so super excited to catch all those landraces.
Hey, how did she start farming cannabis?
Like she worked on my dad's farm. Maybe
Okay.
she trimmed it before on.
And then she have her own land and she asked to put plants.
Yes.
And why weed?
Why weed? Because it make a lot of money. Maybe I honestly, the people who love weed here because money. Because you grow corn, you grow chili, you grow potato. A lot of work also, but it not give you enough money.
So it's more easy to grow cannabis than vegetable also.
Yes, because I think the weather is the most perfect for cannabis also.
Atja.
She's not impressed.
Face with the hand, huh? Hey. She thinks it's full on crazy.
Sacred chamber.
Wow. Look at this, eh? See all the purple?
Yes. On the right, purple. On the left,
Yeah.
Yeah,
green.
so you separate here,
Yes.
because you told me you like the purple.
So the
more.
purple get more money, no? Three and a
Yes.
half. So what are we gonna press now? This dry stuff there?
Yes.
So that's what you use, no? The leftover. Yeah, small flower and leaf and some stick.
What's this?
Is
This man.
It's the family logo, KN, not
Yes.
KD, KN. KN?
His name, yes.
So how many one plate?
1 kilo
1 kilo.
for 1 week.
The logo, eh? The gap?
KN, right? How cool is that?
King K.
In the plastic? Tell them to put a lot because we're going to take an airplane. Your suitcase. Oscar's suitcase. Good morning, brothers. Mr. Pachan, how are you? Good? Thanks for having us, huh?
Nice, beautiful field.
Thank you.
Just next to the river.
Looks KD, no? Cross? KD cross? From the green plants?
Can you just make it short
Mark it shorter, no?
and make it heavier?
And how many plants in this field? What is this, one right?
800.
800. How long he grow?
2 years.
2 years. He's a new grower. You like it?
Yeah.
Good? You smoke?
No. Smoke that.
You do? Ah. Can you show us his nicest plant in the field? This one here. What's
Yeah, it's very tight. Super thin, eh?
Big Mac.
this is probably going to be great smoke, this plant, guys. Look at this, eh? Look here.
If it finishes flowering. Oh, it smells so sweet also, eh?
Smell a little bit of Hawaiian in this one also.
Oh, look, this one, Aryan, come. Whoa, this is a crazy one. Look, full foxtail. And Ermi.
Oh, it smells good, man, this one.
Yeah. Yeah, it has also that Pringle smell. It's funny, there's something here that's sour and cream. It's in the foxtails.
If you know, look different.
Oh, shit. Yeah, look, this one you can't use, you see?
Like a haze or something.
The banana. So hermaphrodite. From the Thai inbred, yeah?
Yep.
You see, you have that problem a lot because the wheat is really nice. Look, you see all the foxtail? This is great to smoke, but it's not good for breeding.
Oh, how can we?
This pink one. It's not beautiful.
Just ignore. Don't take the seed.
Foxtail.
This is where the large inbred come because in Thailand it was so illegal and people use the same seeds and it happened a lot in the Thai. You see it also in America. In America they have a lot of varieties they think that they come from a few lines. So a lot of hermaphrodism in the American seeds. Yeah.
So
That's why greenhouse seeds are so much better. This is a beautiful plant. Look at this. This one dust just found in the field. And smell this one, hey? Smell this one. You see the difference?
yeah,
And look the color.
it's not.
So I have some red from the male line, you see? This one smells so nice. Oh,
Yeah, it's not possible.
this one, man. Smell this.
Because it's the sativa line that you like.
Oh,
I saw some really sweet ones that are really nice too.
this one also, you should take seed of this one, yeah? Smell this. It's so different than the rest.
It's a strong genetic, other one from KD because it's pretty dominant.
Mr. KD. He left the mark in Thailand, eh, this guy. Holy shit. Brother Pachan, the next field we're going now.
And he said he brings some new landless, like a pale sativa.
Pure sativa land rice.
Pure sativa, so we can see now.
Let's go. Nice field, here.
You can see over here a whole field of KD, and here also landrace.
Yo, what's up,
This is
Stash? How are you, bro?
second line landrace. Yeah?
What's up, man? How are you?
Much more sativa here in this field, eh? Look how beautiful. All big plants. That's strong, eh? That's a different smell again, eh? Man, there's so many different smells in these fields here, with these land bases here. Wow, you saw the crystals on this one here.
I mean, there's some really frosty plants.
Look how beautiful this plant is, guys. Here's some seeds, guys.
There's some really, really nice plants here.
Here, look here, Oscar.
And the color of the hair also is very different.
Look at the crystals in this one. And look how ripe the seeds are here. You can just take them out here. Look, they're ready. Look what a beautiful plant. Everywhere in the calyx is a seed. Look, here. See that? Very nice.
After we left Chiang Kong, we went to Chiang Rai Airport. We took the airplane to Nakhon Phanom, and there my friend Prem Pravi was waiting for us. Who's going to be our guide in this whole new area?
How are you?
I'm happy to be in your province. So we came from the Golden Triangle, straight to Nakhon Phanom to your province. Come see your amazing land bases. So like the Antwoord and many others.
Are we gonna have a dinner here together? Where are we gonna go tomorrow for the first time? Which field? Seasonal ground. That's a special variety. You're gonna bring us. You're gonna guide us to the Hong province. That sent him. He's the driver. Heiko, if you're not gonna sit in the front, how can you have a driver without Google Maps? Like really?
What did you get? Ah, yes.
Emergency.
So we are in the right place, right?
Oh my god.
Let's get the hell out of here, guys. Let's get the hell out of here. Did you guys pay this shit?
We did anyway. Now you bring it here. You stop all your things.
Fucking hell, man. This is what's happening right now. So we're gonna drive an hour and
Come
find
on,
another hotel.
man. Like this game, bros. Like this game, man. This game.
Great things we saw when we were passing by and sitting in the back of the pickup was that street where you see the Thai cannabis community totally emerging from this new situation. A lot of fields on both sides of the road, great farms, great families. Super excited to see all this happening in Thailand.
How are you?
สวัสดีค่ะ
Wow, this is a real coffee shop, guys. Look here. You sell big backland race, small backland race.
Very nice. This is the
Here, look here. Ankaron, look here. Here the seats. So this was so authentic.
Lemon orange. I know that name. Sounds familiar.
You're gonna show us the fields? How are you? Good to see you back. Thank you for coming.
So here's his field, no?
Well, he advises all those fields in the neighborhood. So he knows about all the land races, the Angkor. How you say it exactly? Angalor? Hangaro. Is this one here? Okay. Can you show us?
It smells more sweet.
Yeah, it smells sweet.
It smells like a lollipop.
This one's a nice one.
Like the old school lollipop, the chupa chups.
This is a good plant, huh?
Yeah, it's strong also. And not so much seeds if you look compared to the tiger tail.
Yeah, this one we should cross with our hazes and see what happens. I like the smell.
Yeah, it's a very nice
It's a
smell.
little minty, no?
Very nice smell.
Yeah, it's a little menthol a little bit.
So all here, Angara?
Everywhere.
Let's try to find a really nice one.
Wow, this is a real jungle, guys.
I love walking in a place like this.
This is one of them. Angalore tiger tail. You can
Like,
see
come
them
on,
here.
man. This fucking game.
Crazy tails. You can see them hanging here everywhere. That's why they call them tiger tail. So everything they grow here, they make the Thai sticks of, guys. So this is like started in the 60s and the 70s. This is the province in the world where all the Thai sticks went worldwide. They became famous. It's a little piece of bamboo, put the weed around and a little rope, and it came from everywhere. It came from Laos, came from Thailand, and it became famous, like the Punta Roja from Colombia that went to America. So these were a few varieties that went like ballistic all over the world. Can you ask him what variety they're growing here? It's the Angalo. And how many years is this strain here?
30 years or 40 years ago, and them stop. And now start again about 2 years.
They stopped because of the police.
Yes.
It was too much illegal.
How does he think now about the regulation? Is he happy with the Thai new law?
Like not fair for small farmer.
No, not fair for small farmers. What is the biggest problem?
They make for people rich, but for farmer, small farmer, not fair.
No?
But how is it expensive to get the license or the registration?
Yes, expensive for get license.
And how much they have to pay for license?
50,000 baht.
50,000 baht, yeah. It's too much money, eh?
Yeah.
So also the Thai government promised them in the past that the fees would not be so high, so to protect all the local farmers there. So for now, the 50,000 baht, which is around $1,200, is a little bit too much for them. So let's hope the Thai government will adjust this and make sure that the local guys who grow land races are protected for the future.
See, 3.5 kilos. How are you?
And look at those planes. This is getting to be a real land race, eh? Oh, nice, eh? Also, here's Angalo. Yeah, what strain is it
What's
growing?
like why?
หางกระรอกแอนหาง
Ankaro also.
มีแค่2 สายพันธุ์นี่หรอคะ
Wow, this is a really nice plant. So he grow 50 years, no?
พ่อปลูกมา50 ปีเลย
That's good also.
Long time, huh? What is the exact name of this one?
What is the strain?
ชื่ออะไรนะคะ
It's very lemony.
หางเสือ
It's like a zest.
Angstu, Tiger tail. Is the regulation good for them that so many people are growing?
เขาเป็นเพื่อนกับทุกคนเลยที่ปลูกเหมือนกันเลย share with a friend what them have group don't have the market
For buyers? Okay, yeah, that's a problem. Sell product. That's why I was asking if it's too much, you know?
Like, come on, man.
Because every house is
Like
growing.
this fucking game, man.
So, he's 50 years, huh? When he make his first Thai stick?
พ่ออายุเท่าไหร่
When he make first Thai stick, you know, the original one? What year?
51 แล้วพ่อนี่ปลูกกัญชาไทยมานานกี่ปีแล้วคะ
He love it though.
when him born and him saw กัญชา
We made a knife cut landrace joint. Look.
It tastes like nuts, no?
I don't know.
What do you think, man?
You feel very clean high, you know? You don't feel nothing in the body, you know? It's like really in the mind. It's very interesting.
Wat zegt hij allemaal? Wat zegt hij wel allemaal?
I'm tired. Yeah, we know.
Tired.
Oh, what a nice field there with the Mekong.
Yeah, this is really nice, guys.
You saw the river, the mountains.
Look, tobacco plants. Killer plant, Prem. Kill you. Huh?
Well, they seem to attract the insects.
So this one is legal, eh? And ours still difficult.
Come on, man. This game, man.
We're changing.
Bros, this game.
We are
like
winning
this
the
fucking
war.
game.
Hey, boss. But don't you think this is much better crop to grow than tobacco leaves? Got to kill a lot of people. But this is a farmer, now he grows tobacco leaves and he called ganja. Don't you think it's much more better to grow ganja?
Tobacco, him grow very easy. Don't take care, but this different.
More work.
Yes, not easy to
No.
protect.
But this more healthy for body.
So tonight, guys, we're going to the amazing field that I found a few months ago. OG growers and 15 rye, a lot of amazing plants there. So super excited to find some great seeds there.
Hey, so, Prem, this is the big field of 15 rye, huh?
Yes.
And what kind of landrace varieties are we going to see here?
Hangrok and Hangsia.
Yeah, it's a beautiful field there for the last day.
Let's go have a look.
This is the original, no? There's some good plant, but it looks like there's some, this looks like tiger tail also, no?
They all look a little like that. They all have this bend on the end, you see?
I think the tiger tail is just the most hermaphroditic, you know, it's always dropping pollen.
So, Prem, in what area are we here?
Si Songkram.
Sisongkram. And this is by far the biggest plantation I've seen in Sisongkram, no? In Nakhon province. Are there many like this?
Not this number one.
This number one. Prem, why are you doing this and going around and buying all the weed from everybody? And yesterday we were in your shop. Where did your passion come from?
Like this game, man. This game.
I want to learn about gansha because I start only 2 years.
Only 2 years.
Yes, but farmer, some farmer 50 years or 40 years.
Yeah.
I want to learn about.
How to do?
This
Yes.
game,
They
man.
help you. They help you good.
Good.
Yeah.
And I want help them for make a market.
Make a market. Make a good medicine for this amazing plant.
Yeah, this one is really nice. It's missing a little bit of smell.
Yeah.
We need to find the same one with a little bit more smell. And we have a jackpot.
On the other side of the road, there's thousands of them.
This plant is beautiful, eh?
Yeah.
We try to get some seeds from here. It's the perfect structure. Doesn't have spider. Yes, the seeds are nice. Yes, we found it.
Well, we've got a lot of seeds this trip.
Yeah, and from different region. We've got that Lana, we've got that black mango. It was really nice. Really nice to hang around.
Come on, boys.
Hangs here. We got some really tropical taste, you know, that lollipop flower from yesterday was very nice. That's a great trip. And the best part is we can germinate all that right now in Migdahan
Yeah.
and start the selection.
That's what we're gonna do. variety we have here? What strain? Anglo. Okay, and how much does it cost you? 2,000? 3,000. 1 kilo, 3,000 bucks. Okay, can we buy 1 kilo? Okay, it's 2 kilo. It's good. We take the 2 kilos. What do you guys think? Thailand. Chiang Rai, Isan, Phu.
Yeah, favorite trip.
Your favorite trip? Really? From all 10?
Why? Because you didn't have to walk so much.
Well, because you're driving the car. Yeah.
People in the Mustang, we meet something now.
Yeah.
And the which is amazing.
In the beginning, a lot of hybrids, you know, you could see crosses because younger people now. But the deeper you go in the country and the older you see the growers, you know, more experience.
Oh.
Even though they don't say, you know, because they don't want to say it, but they probably grow already 30 years.
They all grow 30, 40, 50 years. This is
And you say fire, it's by USDA, everything.
Otherwise you don't grow like this, huh? They know what they're doing, yeah?
So tomorrow, guys, super excited. For me, one of the main days to show you guys around. We're going to our factory in Mukdahan, which is now the biggest factory in Asia. I'm going to introduce you to our partners. Pam, who's running the whole operation together with us, and her great father, Kun Virat, who had this amazing vision 4 years ago to start growing marijuana plants. Simon, how are you, bro?
Yeah, good man, long time.
You sound much better than last time I called you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I am feeling a lot better. I had some shit going on there.
I heard it was quite wild, no? So my journey started at the age of 17. Didn't know which direction I was going to go. And decided to take my rucksack and travel to Thailand. And I needed a sleeping place in the north of Thailand. And I bumped into an old medicine man. The guy at that time was already in his late 70s, early 80s, not sure. And I winded up in a rehab for opium addicts. And the next morning I woke up and it was like crazy. There was puking people everywhere. He was like handling situations. There were like somewhere between 10 and 20 people getting treatment there from this herbalist. I was going to stay there one day, but in the end I stayed a whole week. And it intrigued me what he was doing, you know. It was probably my first real encounter with somebody who was using cannabis in a medicinal way. And the day I left, he took my hands and he gave me a bunch of seeds and he said, "Ryan, these seeds are going to be so powerful in the future, they're going to overthrow companies." And that's where my journey starts.
guys, welcome to Thailand. Welcome to our amazing dispensary. I think it's the first time we can start documentary making in our own dispensary, get our own goodies. But let me walk you guys now a little bit through the itinerary of the things. Tonight we'll have an interview with Bear. It's good to show Bear, one of the young activists here in Thailand that made the whole cannabis scene legal together with the minister Anutin. Tomorrow, first thing we're gonna do is to KD. There is the legend in Thailand. If we're gonna go to the north, in the Chiang Mai area, Chiang Rai area, we will find a lot of his seeds. He's been breeding for a lot of years, 20, 30 years. And then the next morning, we go straight to the north into the bush. So we're gonna arrive in Chiang Mai, we're gonna do that area around 3 days. Then we go to the area of Chiang Rai, we're gonna do that area 3 days.
It's good timing to go get the land race, no? Because everything is gonna change now in Thailand.
Yeah, the land race, there's a lot. They will all keep it, but people will grow all different kinds of stuff. It's inevitable with a legalization. Then we go closer to Mukda Han. We're gonna do a factory 2 days, and then we're gonna end in Bangkok.
Sounds amazing.
Some presents are coming. So what we're gonna take? Some cam dog, some mango, dry sift, lemon cheese, lemon and orange, cambrai, strawberry, full gas, really nice also. Full gas is named after Franco. He was always full gas. So in honor of him, we call the strain full gas. And this place is your #1 pickup place in Bangkok, Thailand. The Greenhouse Seed Co. When you arrive for your great holiday in one of the greatest countries in the world, Thailand.
They do? Oh, I'm streaming with that big face.
Long time no see, brother. Yeah.
So good? Oh, it's super.
Welcome here all in Super Good Coffee Shop. This is Bear's place. Very close friend of mine. We know each other a few years, and Bear, one of the reasons we want to show this coffee shop because he's one of the main people, main activists who made this all possible in Thailand.
Yeah.
But before I even say that, I brought you some presents because we go a little bit way back. So I promised you for a while ago we were going to grow indoor. So these are.
Oh shit! This is the indoor one.
This is the indoor.
Oh, no.
Yes, yes, yes. And look,
I've seen this in this build. The lemon haze was our history.
it's the history for everybody, and also for you as a Thai grower, everybody. I think Super Lemon Haze won 2 world titles with that.
Actually, this one takes me to the original how I started with cannabis.
When did you start growing?
Started growing since I was 16, I'm 38.
You're 38, 16, so basically 20 years.
Yeah.
So tell me, pre-legalization, how tough was it? Yeah. Because the day of legalization, there released 7,000 people from prison. So how heavy was it for you? Like, how many friends go to prison? How many years? What?
I've had a friend that went to 7 years in prison. It was a pretty bad time. One of the worst time ever to do weed. But I'm growing anyway. You're fucked.
So tell me a little bit about how your contribution to the legalization, because I know you have some seats in the parliament with a lot of people that you're helping each other. How's that going?
Since all the stuff I've done, when I was just be a monk, I was trying to introduce all the politicians together because I know with my age, I want to join the cabinet. And then so I had my uncle, Dr. Marut Monsiabanich, who was the only medical doctor in the Punjabi party, put into the cannabis cabinet to have a voice. Because in the past, they all knew me. I used to do, holiday travels with them, family holidays with other parties, boss members, and then I'm the kid who brought the weed and got my dad busted. I was a kid. I was like 15, 16, just wanting to smoke weed and got everybody's kid high. And all the stupid decisions in my life have led me to when they want to do the weed, well, why don't ask Beer? Because he was always be the guy who get busted with the weed. I personally got busted regularly. And then I had him through when I was a monk, so I invited everybody who ran the parties to my ceremony and introduced them. And then kind of supplied them. So I worked, and then worked from that on.
Bro, thank you so much, man. Great to see you. Keep up the fight, yeah?
Great speaking with you, man.
My father. Take me back to your farm. Please take me out of here.
So we're in Soi Cowboy, a little bit early, but this is the place to be in Bangkok for a little bit funny nightlife. So hi girls. Actually, in 1.5 years is the first time I'm here. So what do you have to say about this? Okay guys, I'm gonna bring a big cheers. Thanks to the whole team. Okay, so we have to do this one again.
Oscar, what you been doing? What are you doing tonight? What did you do? We almost missed all the flights. What happened this morning?
What the fuck, man? Drinking, man.
You punched me in the face and you kicked me.
How you are in
I was with the manager and with the security. And you were naked, like with your snake. Like
Serious?
This.
We filmed everything. On the way to Koh Samui, guys. Then we're gonna take a speedboat to Koh Tao to meet the one and only legend KD. Okay, guys, let's go meet the legend KD.
Let's go.
Huh? I'm pretty sure, 50% sure, the guy with the white t-shirt, that's KD waiting on the pier there. You see, straight in front of me? All the time I see him on the picture, he's got a white shirt. When I met him, he had a white shirt. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
It's my partner, Dust.
nice to meet you. Thanks for having us.
Here's my house.
Wow, it's nice, man. You live in beautiful green. It's different. It's the best way to do it.
like water. It's very relaxing.
I have the lemon with me. The original lemon. So you use the lemon to make your KD cross.
Yeah.
That's crazy. First of all, thank you for having us.
Are you
It's a super honor to meet and see you. I know we met one time before in Bangkok on this amazing wedding, you remember?
Yes,
6 months ago, we were talking. And then I went scouting in the north. And everywhere I come, I see, yeah, this is from KD. This is from KD. I said, who's KD? Yeah, he lives in Koh Tao, and I couldn't figure it out, you know? You're really a hero up in the north, eh?
I think it's everywhere in Thailand because I sent the seed out like 10 years ago. I started to send the seed out. I felt that Thai wheat is become bad because
hermaphrodism.
only
It's getting weaker.
brick wheat from Laos and,
Yeah.
and it's bad quality. So I want to have a good quality wheat to smoke
Yeah.
myself.
Yes.
First, I used to live in Europe, and when I came back to Thailand in 1986, and then when I travel, I collect all the seed, like from Jamaica, from Nepal, from India.
It's
Get
the
some
traveling
seed.
that really got you all this, because you could try other stuff and you thought, this, if I put it with the local landrace, it would be really good
become
and I
new
can make
strain,
it better.
and if we develop, it becomes stronger, and then I send it out.
You know it's not a dangerous thing. Then you know it's a great herb, and it does a lot of good things to society.
Of course, the people in the city, they still have something against it because they think it's drugs and bad. It's bad for your health.
Yeah.
But actually,
They all
no
drink.
problem. Like my cousin, one of my cousins, he has asthma, and my grandma, I remember, make like from the leaf with other herbs for him to smoke and help stop asthma.
How did you ever thought at that time this would happen? Let it go legal in Thailand? Did you think it would happen?
I predict this. I told
Oh, you predicted it?
everyone 20 years ago. I said, in 20 years, I will make Thai weed legal.
And are you happy how it went?
Yes,
It's good, no?
I'm very happy because I've been fighting a lot. I've been to Bangkok so many times, went in front of Parliament.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I heard that from people. You were the guy with the board in front of Parliament, no?
Yeah,
So you're a real activist.
yeah.
And where you sell your product now? To the shops on the island, or?
Actually, I don't really focus on making business.
Just making the seeds and genetics?
Yeah, making seed, making medicine to give away. And that's make me happy more than making money. Making money is also, we need to live. But I don't seek for rich.
I want to give you a little present also. Look here. I'm going to make this one open. Because this is the original super lemon haze, yeah?
Yeah.
So one of the plants that you used for your breeding program. But this is the original mother. This is strawberry one
Yeah.
from us. This is lemon orange. And this is all the Ingo. This is mango haze. And this is the full gas. This is dust baby. Thank you so much, my brother. Very nice meeting you. Thank you so much for this interview.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Okay, guys, it was a great day. Day 3 on the way to Chiang Mai, in one of the best airports in the world now, Koh Samui. And we're going to go there. We're going to land in 2 hours, hopefully, 2.5 hours. And then we're going to visit 4 big farms. And then we're going to end at a really nice guy, also with a huge farm with his father, old OG grower, and grow lots of our stuff also. And he's going to show us around day 3, today.
How long can you do without weed?
Oh, at least few minutes, no?
Brother! Good to see you, huh? Thanks for having us.
Such a peaceful place.
Mm.
Wow.
You feel a difference in temperature here? It's better, no?
Yeah, much cooler than Sangwai.
And yeah, this is one of the few breeders in Thailand. So it was interesting to meet him. And also he's got a lot of land races. Maybe you can explain a little bit what's standing here. What did you make? Sakari, but from Nepal.
Yeah.
One strain, no hybrid.
No.
Okay, so this is pure Nepal. Thai Mexico?
Yeah.
Really? Kilimanjaro, Tanzania.
AK-47. So everything here is crossed also.
Mm. Blue muffin and
It doesn't smell diesel like the mimosa.
No.
It just has the sweetness.
You have seeds from that one to swap? Yeah. That's a very nice one. Manoy, brother,
Oh, I didn't see you. You were hiding between the plants.
it's real.
Come back again.
Come back again.
Come back
Nice
again.
to meet you. Sorry, Cap.
I told you we'd come back.
I'm look you everybody on YouTube 10 years ago.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we made it,
Hunter.
bro.
And now you have your own.
Yes, this is real.
And the plants look really nice.
Good, huh?
So this is your place here?
No, he manages this place. He's the master grower here. So he's going to explain us a little bit what's going on here. And after we're going to go to his family place where he grows with his father. Really nice. How long you grow?
I'm grow after 10 years.
13 years.
I'm learn on university.
Ah, yeah? Where, here in Chiang Mai?
No, I'm learn in Chiang Rai.
In Chiang Rai?
Because I'm not finished to learn master degree.
No.
Because my big farm talk to me to grow cannabis.
Yeah.
I asked to father, hello father. Okay, I'm not want to learn.
I want to grow.
I want to grow.
Stop
I'm to father.
So you
I
stop
want to
university?
Stop.
Yes.
I don't want to master degree.
No.
I want to grow
Mm.
cannabis only.
And what's father say?
Father say, what the fuck?
So what you do, you
Get,
keep one mother plant every time?
You keep here mothers with the lights. You
Yes.
keep mothers here.
Yes.
They clone
I'm clone.
and then grow there.
Yes. And buy your seed, Stain Hunter, or internet.
Internet.
Uh,
Love
because
internet these days.
because in Thailand, the seed Stain Hunter so expensive.
Yes.
Because I think the seed for the good quality.
Yeah.
I don't know to the price.
But now for free.
Woo, Leo.
Yeah.
This is woo. Trophy.
Ah, yeah, you win trophy with this one?
Yes. The best sativa in Chiang Mai.
Ah, yeah?
Yes. Supreme Clave.
Supreme
Clave.
Clay.
Yes. This is your stem is inside super silver hand.
Nice. Hey, and you have your own farm, no? With your father. We're going
Yes.
there after, no? You're going to take us.
Yes. Delicious.
Okay, let's go, guys. Let's run.
See you later.
How are you?
You have the ground under, so the roots going into the ground.
This one big, huh? How does he take care upstairs?
Huckleberry punch.
Hybrid here, this one, hey? All hybrid.
With the sun and you're in the altitude, you know, on the mountain, you have great sun, great weather. This one is nice also, like OG Kush.
This one's rock hard too.
This is more sativa for sure.
Definitely. "32 years ago, I was here with my daughter. She was 3, and I was telling this story many times. It was the biggest roller skate restaurant in the world in Chiang Mai. And guess what? 32 years later, I come back, and this was the place, guys. And it's now Meron. Manoi, broski.
Beautiful place. Very nice.
So maybe you can show us around. Here's where you guys make the soil, no?
This is Thailand lace.
Thailand race. Seeds.
KD Got Tao.
KD Kotao?
Yes.
So here is KD.
This KD is Stain Purple.
That's the red one from KD.
That's good.
Mango.
That's really good. And what do you have
And
here?
this. But you see this.
What do you have there?
No, look here. Look. Look. Ah.
Yen he know he come.
Huh? Perfect. So, what else can you show us here on your property?
Yeah, nice. They look happy.
Smells good, huh? You smoke 100 grams in 1 week.
1 week.
Not dangerous?
Yeah.
Not dangerous.
Wauw. Kijk dit dan.
That's the most original entrance to it.
Eh?
Oh man.
A clone room on the water.
Man, I want an office like this.
How cool is this then?
Perfect. Powerful. Strong.
Dus gasten kunnen allemaal die bongs roken, het is echt niet te geloven. So what is your plan now to extend your company? What you gonna do next year? What's your dream here?
Next, in the future, I'm thinking to the cannabis shop and coffee shop, a little coffee shop to. I want to learn with cannabis and learn to my friend. I happy, my friend happy. Every people smile, I'm smile. My father smile, mother smile, family smile. I'm okay.
I'm getting 3 beautiful land races from this guy there. So suddenly, or 4 even, suddenly 30 growers showed up here in Chiang Mai. Nice, so it's super nice to hang out. And I got this Thai glue one, I got that orange one, and a Royal Lana. It's very interesting. But this is nice, you know, these gatherings, these suddenly, and the guys that come, you know, they don't come for nothing. Yeah. That's super nice. Though.
It smells like a lollipop.
This one's a nice
You know?
one, eh?
Like the old school lollipop, the Chupa Chups.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
All right. Thanks for doing this, sir. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
I've enjoyed many of your videos online, so I'm fascinated by these theories that you have. And
So that's one.
so I'm excited. I'm excited that you're here. Could you please, first of all, could you just tell everybody what your background is? Like, what did you start off doing professionally?
I started as an accountant in an engineering company in Manchester. And worked through the apprenticeship, received my German papers. I worked for a couple more years and I went and then I was recruited by an aerospace company in America. And immigrated.
And what did you do for this aerospace company?
Well, I started out as a lathe turner. That was my specialty.
A what?
A lathe turner?
A lathe turner.
Yeah. Right, so I was a lathe. So I operated horizontal lathe, vertical lathe. In England, you know, they have what they call them vertical boring mills. In the States, you have a very different cultural differences.
Mm-hmm.
So you can terminologies. Like they call over here, they call it the turbine. In England, they call it a vertical wall.
And so you're working with machines, and when did you come up with this theory about the pyramid?
Well, actually, I had been in the States for a while. It was, I came over in 1969, and in 1977, I picked up Peter Tolkien's book, Secrets of the Great Pyramid, and I started to examine that book. And one of the things that Tolkien asked a very significant question is, does the Great Pyramid enshrine the lost science? You know, is the Great Pyramid a product of that science? Does it reflect it? And I took that question very seriously. That question was in my mind as I read through the book. And then I started to explore some of the references that he provided in the bibliography. One of them was the work of William Flinders Petrie. And he described lathes being used in ancient Egypt. He described very large coring drills up to 18 inches in diameter. And he also claimed that they were using circular saws.
When he's describing this, like, what kind of metal would they use?
Well, that's the thing. The question really demands that you explore all methods that you are able to, when you satisfy the historical way, say the archaeological way, and you say, okay, I'm going to try this. Well, that's not going to work. That won't work. So we'll try this. We'll keep improving our methods and tools until we arrive at a solution to explaining the article. Mm-hmm. That's the important. That's basically the demands on a manufacturing engineer, which I eventually became. So, you know, if a customer comes in and they bring a part to the company and say, I want you to make one just like this. What do we do? Oh, we have to know what this is. And to do that, we take measurements, we determine materials, how it was manufactured, you look for tool marks to see what processes may have been involved in it, whether there were dyes, whether there were machining marks in areas. You look at the welds, and they weld some part, they braze other parts, and then of course the geometry. And basically that's what that's it. Okay, I've got to make something just like that.
Right, but when you're making like, if you're looking at, say, some of the stonework that was done in the pyramid, where there's, not in the pyramid, but in some of the quarries, where you see these core drill holes.
Right.
Like, how would you reverse engineer that? Like, how would you figure out what could possibly do that?
Well, that's the interesting question. It's one that's been a huge debate going on about that. And it really goes back to 1984. And I published an article called Advanced Machining in Ancient Egypt, ? And it was published in Analog Science Fiction Science Fact magazine in August of 1984.
Too bad. So
was that before you were born?
I was in high school.
Yeah, you were. Right?
Yeah, I was junior in high school.
I wasn't. So it was, and you know, Stanley Schmidt, Dr. Stanley Schmidt, who's the editor of Analog, a very respected editor, selected it for publication. And we went through, the editorial process.
Hey, buddy, thanks for being here still.
Stuff like that, and then it went out.
And so, what did you when you look at like the core, the drill holes, the vases are another like very fascinating and real gigantic mystery as to how those are constructed. And we'll talk about those as well. But is that what it looks like? That's a model of one. But the core holes itself, we had a debate recently with Graham Hancock and Flint Dibble, and one of the things that Dibble had suggested was that they had done something with sand, and that was how they were able to do this with copper and sand in the middle of the drill. Does that make sense to you?
Well, I mean,
that's such a fucking scheme.
That theory about how they were done, and I know that there has been work done to prove that theory is the correct one. But central to explaining at the actual core, if you go back and you read Petrie, he described a spiral groove around a granite core, and he said that it had like a pitch of 100,000 per revolution of the drill. And so that's what I was going on when I claimed, well, what kind of a process would you need to...
Well, can I stop you there? When you say a pitch of 1,000 per...
Yeah, for every revolution of the drill, it sinks into the granite 100,000 centimeters.
Okay, so because of that, you know that this thing has to be operating at a certain speed?
Not necessarily rotational speed, but the penetration rate.
So with each rotation, it will go how long? How far?
100,000 centimeters, which is almost at 1/8 of a minute.
So that's pretty impressive when you're talking about solid granite, correct?
Yeah.
And that probably wouldn't be possible with copper and sand.
No.
It seems like sand and copper are just not abrasive enough.
No, I contacted a company that specialized in drilling granite, and I asked them what is the feed rate. That 100,000 of an inch would be the feed rate of the drill. What is the feed rate of your drills when you're drilling into granite? And I got a response from him, and he said, generally, our drills, they're diamond. They rotate around 900 revolutions per minute, and the penetration rate is about 0.2 of an inch per revolution. So 0.2 0.2/10,000 of an inch per revolution.
Oh, 2/10,000.
2/10,000. I'm sorry, yeah, I misspoke. So 2/10,000 of an inch is like 500 times smaller than 100,000.
Wow. So these drills that they used in Egypt were capable of drilling with each revolution 500 times more than modern diamond drills that were used by people who cut into granite.
Their penetration rate was 500 times.
So it might have been operating a slower revolution, but when it's going through its full revolution, it's much more effective.
That's what I concluded.
Now, is this in? But is this in multiple different drill holes, or is it one individual sample that they found that seems to operate at this depth per revolution?
There have been inspections on several different cores.
And have they all yielded similar results?
And they have all revealed that the groove is a spiral. In other words, it's a continuous spiral around the core. The most recent examination of those cores was in 2018 by two aerospace engineers, Eric Wilson and Josh Gyges. And they asked the Petrie Museum in London permission to examine the cores in their collection. The Petrie core number 7, which is the most famous core, and the one that has drawn the most heated kind of debate about.
we see what that looks like? Jamie, can you find that one? Petri core number 7.
It's on that.
Because this to me, and the vases, obviously, and of course the construction, the pyramid itself.
Right.
They're also the symmetry of the faces.
Right.
There's so many things that are so mind-blowing about whatever they did and how they did it. It's I mean,
Right.
Forget about all the mysteries.
Right.
Just what we know in terms of, okay, so these are these 2 core samples. These are these 2 cores.
They're not. No, they're the same one. And they're from Lost Technologies of Ancient Egypt. And essentially, what happened was there was a book written, I think it was in 1999, by Chris Olgoviero and Ian Morrison, and it's called Gyges of the Truth. And so what they did is they had contacted, or they had associates that went into the Petri Museum and examined the core to see if it was actually a spiral. So they took photographs of it and they examined those photographs, and they said no, they're horizontal. Now there's a big difference when you talk about a horizontal groove,
right,
and a spiral groove. And so I was like, okay, I suspend all assertions as far as the methods that I proposed for how it may have been done. I need to go and examine that item myself. And so I booked a flight to England, and a friend of mine in Cambridge picked me up at the airport, Nick Annis, and we went to the Petri Museum and I examined the core. The method I used was to just wrap a simple cotton thread around it.
So you just followed the groove with the thread?
With the thread. But I was wearing
rubber gloves?
Well, yes, I was wearing rubber gloves, but I was also wearing a visor with lenses in it that gave 10 times.
Oh, okay, so you could really see where the grooves are?
Yeah, you would find those items in any tool to make it.
So if the lines were horizontal, you would go around in a circle, then you'd have to cross over the ridge to hit to the next circle.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was continuous.
No, I mean, it was continuous.
Right.
Okay.
So how did they miss that? That seems like this is such an important piece of history, such a fascinating thing to examine. Look at this mystery. You have this granite core.
Right.
How do they do it? There's lines on it.
Right.
Are they horizontal or are they a spiral?
Right.
And then they just go, oh, it's horizontal. And then you come along with string, and you're like, no, it's a spiral.
Right.
Like, how does someone screw that up?
Yes, I mean, they would say that I screwed it up, obviously. But the thing is, Joe, is that, when you're conducting research, anybody, whether you're a scientist or just Joe Blow in the tool room, and you say, okay, this is what I found, and these are the methods I used, and these are the results. Okay?
Right.
So you describe your experiment, and you lay it out, and you explain in detail how you do it.
Wouldn't, with today's technology, wouldn't it be really easy to scan it?
Well, it is now, yeah.
Yeah, and then they would. So have they done that? Have they definitively proven one way or the other?
I don't think there is a really high-quality scan that would be necessary. I mean, I've learned a little bit about scanning. It was just being introduced into manufacturing when I retired, just before I retired. We started to look into it, and we bought this white light scanning system. But now,
the systems now are so advanced.
The systems now
and you
are
feed
like
it through
light
AI,
years ahead.
and you would feed it through AI, and it would tell you exactly.
Well, I mean, you basically you could slice it, dice it, examine it any way you wish, but you need to have qualified people to do it. Not anybody that's not qualified could examine that.
Right. So either way, these cores and those drill holes represent something sensational, something absolutely amazing. Some 4,500-year-old drill that somehow or another was more effective than drills that are being used today.
Yeah, but you know the truth of the matter, though, Jim?
What?
It's probably.
I wish you could just tell me, and then we'd know. There's so many
It's
mysteries.
It's probably the most insignificant artifact I've looked at.
I'm sure.
I mean,
you looked at so much in Egypt.
Yeah.
I mean, but to me, it's like a corner piece.
Oh, people are freaking out over it.
Yeah.
How could you? How dare you?
Well, I'm sure because it throws everything into flux. Because how did they? The assumption is they did this through intense labor over long periods of time, and it took forever to do.
Right.
And if they're operating at a pace that's 500 times more effective than a drill that's used by a modern. Have you talked to other people that go into granite? Are there more sophisticated drills that work better, or more powerful drills that work better than his?
You know the thing is in manufacturing, and this is a fact. You don't know the full scope of what engineers are capable of doing.
Right.
Because you're not in every shop in every country, every town in the world. And so nobody knows exactly what all engineers are capable. There may be somebody actually reproducing the features on that course somewhere, using some method.
Right.
I don't know. You just don't know.
But from the person that you talk to that does it professionally, that uses high-level equipment, his drill was 500 times less effective.
It was the feed rate was less. The revolution could have been more. I mean, you said it earlier. You said could it have been rotating slowly?
Right.
It didn't have to spin very fast. In fact, it's better when you're machining hard material or grinding hard material, is that you don't, because heat is the biggest enemy of a tool.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you think, if you had to guess, that they were using?
I actually created my own core just to experiment, right? And I learned a lot doing it. I didn't use the same method as some of the other researchers that are out there that did it. I had a copper tube, and I had corundum.
What's corundum?
Oh, it's a very, very hard grit that you use to grind into hard material.
So the copper tube would be flat at the bottom, and then you put the grit in. The grit would act as
right. And so you'd rotate it. And I set up a jig, a tube, and just ground it, just so that I could see the results of that. For one thing, they say that copper was the only metal available to the ancient Egyptians, but when it came to knocking out the core from the hole, I tried copper and it wouldn't budge it, so I had to use a steel chisel.
Is it possible that they use something else like heat?
I'm actually leaning more towards that because of the difference in the shape.
Like if they poured boiling water in it or something, would that loosen things?
I don't think water would be it, but if you compare...
The difference in the finish, I'm sorry, what did you do?
That I don't think has been discussed enough or recognized to be important enough, is that when you use an abrasive like sand or like emery or anything to grind out a hole or do whatever, you leave a sanded finish, naturally.
Polished.
Not polished.
Sanded.
Sanded.
Smoother? Is that what you mean?
It could be smooth, but it's definitely got a sanded finish.
And what is the difference between a sanded finish and the finish of a diamond bit?
Well, we don't know if they were using a diamond bit, but that's
that's what they do today, right?
That's what they do today.
So what is the difference between a sanded finish?
Well, you still have the same thing. You're using an abrasive.
Right.
You're keeping the abrasive as cool as possible as you're grinding away, but you're still grinding. And so your finish is not going to be polished. unless you have a secondary process where you go in and polish it with a finer grit. You don't start with the very, very fine grit because you won't get anywhere with it.
Let's take a look at some of those holes. Jamie, can you show us some of those holes, the drill holes in granite in ancient Egypt? So that here we can see right here, which is absolutely wild. Some of these
Yeah.
images, I mean, that is absolutely wild.
Right.
I mean, how the hell did they do that?
Well, that's what just about, this is like an engineer's playground. They go through there.
Right, and as an engineer, you must be just like scratching your head.
Yeah,
Fascinating
definitely.
stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Jamie, click on that. Well, yeah, there we go. That's a good one. I mean, that one's wild. That is just absolutely crazy.
That is at, looks like it's at Abu Ghraib, and it's in alabaster.
Have you ever measured the circumference of these things?
No.
Have you measured the diameters? Have you measured whether or not they're equal circles?
Well, they are definitely round.
They're
sure.
perfect?
Yeah.
Perfectly round?
I wouldn't say perfect, no.
So
And
absolutely
there's no
drill
su-
was
You
used.
can't say perfect. in
Right,
this
right,
day
right.
and
Of
age.
course.
There's no such thing as perfect.
Right. But
They're round.
close enough too. And so these, wow, look at that. That is amazing. So these circular holes were definitely cut by some kind of a drill. That's agreed upon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you couldn't do it with the copper, like when you tried to do it with copper, how long did it take and how much results did you get? Look at those circular marks, man. That is crazy.
There's a few days.
That spiral right there is absolutely nuts. I mean, it just clearly looks like a drill hole.
Yeah, I think that's my photograph. actually.
Is it?
I took that one.
So, how long did it take you to drill a hole?
Probably day and a half, 2 days.
Day and a half, 2
Yeah.
days, and how deep was the hole?
The hole was probably 2 inches, 2.5 inches deep.
Well, that seems like it's doable then, right? If you could just keep doing it day after day, week after week, you get a big core.
Yeah, and that I mean, and that's basically what everybody concludes. The Egyptologists would conclude that they had all the time in the world to do these things.
Wasn't the Pyramid of Giza, the Great Pyramid, wasn't that supposed to be completed inside of 30 years? Isn't that the hypothesis?
I've heard that anything between 10 years and 100 years.
Yeah. I have
Nobody
They don't. It's just guesswork, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's what is it, 2,300,000 stones?
Right.
And the heaviest ones in the base, like, what are the heaviest ones?
Well, the ones that we know of in the Great Pyramid weigh up to 70 tons, and those are the
Oh, too YOLO.
So there's that. So there's the drill holes, which are just absolutely fascinating, and then this pottery we'll talk about before we get to the whole what you think the pyramid is. So the pottery, like these vases that you're seeing, I shouldn't say pottery.
No, they're not.
I'm wrong. They're actually solid carved,
Right.
and they're carved out of very hard stone, right? What is it? They're carved out of?
Oh, granite, diorite.
Granite, diorite, and
igneous rock.
And the crazy thing is how well they're done. And if you show it, could you pick that thing up to show everybody? The crazy thing is that it's not only perfectly symmetrical. Again, don't use the word perfect, right? Because it's within what width of a human hair?
Well, you got.
It's some crazy.
Yeah, like 2,500 or something. Like
2,500 of a human
Have you
hair.
ever used one of these?
Yes, I have.
All right, so measure the lip there, right? See that?
Yes, sir.
Measure that, and then turn it 90 degrees and measure it.
Okay,
Tell
well,
me
this
what you get.
obviously is not a real one. You wouldn't do that with whole.
No, that is actually a 3D print.
Right, 3D print.
From
Yeah, not a
from
real
the
one.
STL file.
Right, but it's not
no,
real.
no, obviously not.
Okay.
But it's a copy of the.
And so
basically.
So I'm measuring it here, and then I'm going to measure it here. So it's essentially exactly the same everywhere, right? Is that the idea?
It's within about a hour and a half.
It's got a little bit of a chip in the top.
Yeah,
area,
well, you don't.
Because that's how it was, right?
Don't measure that.
And so it's perfect, except up to what percent of your human hair again?
I would say in shop talk, it's perfect.
In
But
shop talk, it's perfect.
Yeah, but it's yeah. That's
Come
beginning
on, man.
2,500,
So this is how you measure it all. This equipment.
Such a
this was
dumb
a
game,
different-
man.
But the thing is, it's like you couldn't
Dumb
spin
game.
this on a potter's wheel. This is where it gets really crazy.
No.
Because of these handles.
Right.
Now these handles are also carved into the vase, and
Right.
people would say, well, "What's the big deal in the vase?" The big deal is these goddamn handles.
That's a big deal.
Because even if you just slowly and meticulously, with the finest
Oh,
of craftsmanship,
God.
spun this to a perfect accuracy, just with like high grit sandpaper, where it slowly over time made it perfectly round, and you got so good at it that you get it within how much of a human hair again?
About a human hair.
Okay,
Two and a half then.
Okay, let's say it's a human hair, which is pretty small. How the hell are you gonna do these handles? How are you gonna make these perfect too?
There's another question that you need to ask too.
How do you get the inside?
No.
What?
How do you measure it to be sure that you're within that human hair?
Right. What kind of equipment?
What kind of instruments do you use?
Yeah, it seems like this would be a problem. Like, I don't think they had this. And if they did have this, they didn't have this part.
How do you know?
I don't know. I'm guessing.
I don't know either.
No. But if we're thinking about what they had, we're not thinking about things like this. We really don't know.
Well,
obviously we don't know if we can't locate that drill. If you can't locate that drill, like the drill's real, the hole's real. You can't locate an ancient Egyptian drill. So there's a bunch of pieces of pottery.
Yeah.
And all of them have the same sort of similar measurement to them in terms of their perfection.
Actually, some of them, there's one, I think it's more precise than that one.
Really?
The original, yeah. They call it the spinner. I think it's that one at the front there. And we rotated that on the rotab at Danville Metal Stamping. And we staged it so that we were checking concentricity or runout all around. So we put an indicator in various places and then spun the rotary table to check the runout. And that one spinner vase blew me away. You know, when you have when you're measuring a diameter, right, just a straight diameter, and you're checking the runout on a straight diameter, and you have it, okay, that's the one. You only have that one axis that is actually affecting the movement of that indicator that you're using. On this bowl, when you're on the side of it, on the crown, not right to the top, but just below it, you're at a place where the movement from two axes is affecting the indicator. So any error that you have vertically or horizontally,
They meet at the top.
yeah, you're gonna get an accumulation of error in runout.
And how
If
accurate
there
was
is
that one, the spinner?
There was probably within a thou and a half.
What does that mean?
1,000. Well, about half the thickness.
Half the thickness. And one of the vases that's incredibly impressive is there's one with a longer neck and a lip on the top, and then it bowls out of the bottom.
Yeah.
And
right.
it's, again, all carved out of granite somehow.
Right.
And how? What did they do to do that?
Well, that's the thing. I think we're
See, there's some other ones, Jamie. There's one of them that has like a longer neck, so you can find it online, maybe.
Yeah, we seem to be stuck in a time warp where we're trying to come to terms with how the pyramids were built, with how all these artifacts were built, and okay. It's a nice posh cup. Can I keep it?
Yes, sir. It's all yours.
Cheers, mate.
So, continue. So we're lost in history.
So, yeah, so we have competing forces. We've got, on one side, you have practical engineers, practical scientists, and they want to measure everything exactly, and regardless of what current theories prescribe how they were made, they want to explore other methods. However, on the other side, on the side of archaeologists or Egyptologists, they believe that if you're examining an ancient artifact and you're a modern engineer, that you have to work under the guidance of an archaeologist or an Egyptologist. Otherwise, your work would not be recognized.
That's weird.
And that is happening. I mean, that's a fact, and they admit it. So that is the situation. I think it's a systemic problem because it is certainly not a way to do science.
Well, and also they're not educated in those disciplines, supposedly.
Well, bingo, yes. I mean,
so
absolutely.
they wouldn't be able to understand what's required to do that. Now, what the conventional explanation being some sort of copper and sand, if that's the conventional explanation, there's no evidence of any copper drills, correct?
If you go to the Cairo Museum, they have I think there's a tube that they describe, a small tube that they describe as a...
but nothing that can
like
carve
that.
those large holes out of granite.
Right. Yeah, they're just going on the assumption that only copper existed during that period, and so that was the metal that was available to them. That was the metal.
The tubes that they have in the museum, are these tubes authentic tubes that were used on the site for something?
I would have to go back and refresh my memory on that because it was quite a while before I looked at it.
But the point is, like, they don't, like they have a replica of an ancient boat. They know the boats, they know what the boats are from. They don't have the actual drill. So whether it's something exotic that we didn't know that they had capability to create, or whether it's what they think it is, neither one of those exist.
They don't exist.
Okay.
No, I mean, nothing exists. Everything right now is theory.
Okay.
And so we're stuck in a bit of a time warp, and we're stuck that it's between two disciplines.
So what is the reluctance of the archaeologists to accept the findings of the engineers if the goal is the truth? So if the goal is to figure out, instead of just having assumptions that you're going to cling to as dogma as to what was done, wouldn't the goal be, let's find out what the truth is, what's capable of doing this? If they talk to enough engineers, and especially enough people that actually carve into granite, then you would get an understanding of what we know today. This is the only thing that can do this. This is how it's possible.
Yeah, and then you would try and reproduce the artifacts that the ancient Egyptians produced, and then compare the results.
Right.
That's what you have to do. You have to...
So the reluctance is they don't believe that the Egyptians had any more advanced technology than what we assume they had, which is pulleys and ropes and copper tools and sand and the like.
Yeah, one would assume that you'd have to ask an Egyptologist, and you may get a different answer depending on who you ask.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. There's probably a lot more open-minded people coming out there.
Well, yes, particularly in Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a tremendous kind of quiet revolution going on in Egypt because you go where you feel like you're going to be welcome. You know, if you're not welcome somewhere, you find somewhere. So when I put my work out, and I was talking to people in the 90s on message boards, and I could see that, I wasn't getting anywhere there. And I thought, well, okay, who has the most to gain and who has the most to lose by opening this up and exposing everything, right, and getting it out in the open? Who has the most to gain if they come down on my side, and who has the most to lose? And obviously, those who have the most to lose are the Western institutions who have written the history of the world, written the history of Egypt. And so I decided, well, I have to appeal to Egyptian engineers. And so in my second book, Lost Technologies of Ancient Egypt, I put out a challenge to modern Egyptian engineers to go out and check the artifacts for themselves. And that's what they did. One man, one engineer, I don't know how many other engineers were involved, but I'm talking to Egyptology tour guides, and the message I'm getting is that the pyramid of tomb theory is pretty much on the way out. The young people are being energized and looking at their artifacts in a different way. So the engineer that took up the challenge is called Ahmed Adli, and he followed my path. He went into the Serapeum and checked those huge granite boxes. He did a study of the statues. He presented the Giza power plant theory to a physicist at Cairo University, and it's like, wow, times are changing. So the Egyptian youth are taking hold of the reins, and they're excited about their future. You know, just recently there was like a STEM class. It was put on by NAMA, American University. It was held at the Grand Egyptian Museum, and there were over 200 students that took place, and the professors and teachers of these students got Ahmed Adli involved to design experiments to talk about pyramids as energy sources, talk about the statues, symmetry, design projects that the kids could do, and even to the point of taking a slab of copper and trying to cut a brick using the old method, just so that they could get a hands-on feel for what it was like. It's all very well to sit at home in your armchair and come up with a theory, but if you don't go out and test it, then or you're just going to buy it rote.
Right.
Okay. A respected professor tells me that this was done with copper chisels or copper slabs, and well, if he says it, then he's got to be right, because that's what he's paid for. He's paid to teach the truth.
What is the oldest known iron that we are aware of?
Oh.
In terms of steel.
Yeah, that's a little outside my wheelhouse. I don't know. I won't be able to answer that accurately.
Right, but they don't think that the Egyptians had it.
Well, there was metal, iron found in the Great Pyramid.
There was?
Yeah. I think it was during Peter's time, an engineer called Perrin discovered an iron plate that was lodged near one of the shafts.
Didn't one of the pharaohs have a dagger that was made from a meteorite?
Supposedly, yeah, meteoric iron.
Okay, so
how old is that? I don't know. And really, when you talk about the smelting of iron, I think you had that discussion on with your when Graham and.
Did we talk about that, Jay? Like when?
And yeah.
Let's find out what is the conventional date that they use today for the smelting of iron. When they start doing that?
I think what the discussion was the appearance of lead in these ice cores that were drilled.
Oh, that's right.
Right. Industrial activity,
yes.
basically what they were looking for.
So 1200 BC. Okay, the history of Pharaohs, how do you say that word? Ferrous metallurgy began far back in prehistory, most likely with the use of iron from meteors. There you go. The smelting of iron bloomeries. Is that it? Bloomeries? Is that what you said? began in the 12th century BC in India, Anatolia, or the Caucasus. Iron used in smelting and forging for tools appeared in sub-Saharan Africa by 1200 BC. So it could be that these pharaohs, that the one that had the iron dagger made out of the meteorite, maybe that was later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Tutankhamun. Okay, so for sure it was. Look at that. Meteoric iron dagger. Wow. So
Yeah.
that's 1334 to 1325 BC. Interesting. Well, that's early. That's earlier than they said people were smelting.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's different.
Right, but if it's Tutankhamun, that's his time.
Yeah, but that iron came from outer space.
Right. But so they could have hammered it into that position.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to smelt it. Right. So we know they're aware of it at least at 1300 BC. We know
Yeah.
they're aware of iron, but there's just no evidence of tools.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, I wouldn't say, I don't know if they knew what the metallurgy of these materials.
Right.
But yeah, they had a material that they could shape, and they shaped it into a dagger.
But we don't know if they shaped it into tools or shaped it into some other
It
things.
says that the iron plate right here says it is unlikely that it was a byproduct of copper smelting operations. It's badly corroded.
The outer layer of the iron has been badly corroded and now forms
Yeah, that's
expanded
right.
iron oxide. Significant proportions of gold were found in one of the oxidized layers, and the plate may originally have been gold-plated. New data coupled with the original archaeological information strongly suggests the iron plate is contemporary with the building of the pyramid, and that it is therefore one of the oldest known pieces of iron.
Yeah, I think Petrie described it as having nummulites that had somehow been deposited on the surface.
So at least that's some
great.
evidence of iron in the
Right.
Great Pyramid.
But, you know, as far as what iron was it smelted?
Right,
You know,
and
that's the question.
did they have the
and-
capability of doing that?
And when?
Right, and when? Right. So it's just pure speculation as to what they used for the core. What is the conventional thought as to how they made these vases?
I mean, there are demonstrations of crafting ancient vases, but I think this recent research and the discovery of the precision of them, which had always been a question mark until just recently. You know, people would go through the Cairo Museum, or you know, in any museum in the world, and they would see these beautiful, finely crafted artifacts made out of igneous rock and extraordinarily precise. And I've done that the same. I mean, I look at them and it's like, wow, I'd like to get one of those in my shop and just check it out, you know, quality inspection. And so for years, that was for me, it was like always a question. I'd love to know how precise those vases are. And then in 2018, the owner of that original vase, Adam Young, he came on the tour, and he befriended my son Alex, and they were talking about the vases, and Alex was a quality inspector, quality engineer, the company that I worked at. Since he worked at another company in Indianapolis, and now he's working in the metrology lab at Rolls-Royce in Indianapolis. And so he's like, well, we should scan them or do an inspection. So Adam brought his vase down to Indianapolis, and where Alex was working, and he got permission from the managers at the shop to do an inspection of them. And it seems like, you know, you talk to people, shop people, right? People who are actually out there every day making quality parts that people's lives depend on. You know, if you fly on an airplane and you and I told one of there's another owner of vases, he's got a lot of them, and I told him, I said, you're carrying in your hand an artifact that is more precise than some of the parts that were installed in the engine that was on the plane that you flew.
That's
and
crazy.
he's going, and he's like, wow, okay. I mean, that's where you bring it home. And so all these guys who are making these artifacts, right, and they're held to exacting standards every day. They can't slip them. They can't make mistakes. You know, there's no fudging or faking anything. Otherwise, you'd be out on your ear, or people would be falling out of the sky.
Right.
Right.
So that's for those parts, and these artifacts are more precise than that, which is just insane.
Well, not all of them. I mean, there are parts in an airplane engine or aircraft engine that are more precise, or features of the parts are more precise. And that's where, and I want to explain something here, because
Sure.
I think it's a very, very important point. And it has confused a lot of people. It really confused a lot of people. Any part that you have, you know, whether it's something for your car, you know, say a crankshaft or something like that, right? Take a crankshaft, it's got very precise features on it, and then there are features that are not so precise, because they don't need to be. It all depends on what the customer requirements are. So they don't build precision or require precision in a product where it's not needed. That's just waste of time.
Right.
It just makes it more expensive. But now you have, you know, people who are looking at some of these artifacts, like the boxes in the Serapeum, and they're finding imprecise areas of the boxes. The photograph of me inside one of those boxes with a toolmaker's precision square. I mean, there's nothing simple, right? You take a square, you stick it up, and you check to see if it's square. Are the surfaces flat? Is it square? Yeah, it's fine. And now you've got guys going around on the outside of the box and finding inaccuracies. Some areas inside boxes that have inaccuracies. And now they're calling me a liar. They say that I fake.
Wow, so laggy.
Right? It's like, I don't know, the cancel culture they want to get away from.
What is their beef? Like, you used a square, and you measured things, and you found them to be precise.
And I said, holy shit, look at this.
And what are they using?
Before
What
me,
equipment are they using that's showing that your equipment, what your measurements were inaccurate?
They are not. They don't go to the area and show that the area that I was checking is imprecise. They will find some other area that is less precise, point to that, and lead the viewer to believe that defines everything.
Right. So everything is not precise, but much of it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the areas that aren't necessary to be precise, like the outside of the box, are not as precise as the inside? Is that what you're saying?
They don't have to be.
Right, they don't have to be. So when it comes to precision, like the precision of the faces, for instance, in some of the sculptures,
right.
What is the conventional explanation for how precise they are? Because these are massive faces that were supposedly carved by hand, but the accuracy on either side of the face is so phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, bizarrely so. Like, how accurate?
Well, exactly, we don't know. But I mean, as far as the methods that I use, which is like 2D photography, and then comparing features in the computer for symmetry, you know, and some geometric features. Nobody had done that before, and so I come along, you know, I say, wow, this is actually it kind of hit me. The first time I went to Egypt and I was at Saqqara, I was looking down the length of the statue of Ramses at the open air museum there, and I said, no, the nostrils are extraordinarily symmetrical. I mean, they match, right? And most people's nostrils are different if you look at them. And so that's my photograph.
So there's the measurements
Right.
on each side. They're exact.
Yeah, they're as exact as I could make
It's not it.
But,
It's not
you
it.
know, I qualify the work that I did by saying this is not the final answer. There needs to be
It's not it.
more sophisticated measurements taken, more accurate measurements taken. They need to be scanned, and then they need to be analyzed where you have a precise scan where you're not trusting your eyes. You're actually trusting, the tried and true development of laser scanners.
But at the very least, the amount of symmetry that exists in these massive statues is spectacular.
It's mind blowing. I can't even express it. It's absolutely mind blowing. You look at the one with the.
How large are these that we're talking about?
Well, the one that I measured was the first one was at the Luxor Museum, and it's outside. I would say it's probably about 4 feet something.
There's very large ones too. Right?
Just like the face and the headdress. There are larger ones, yes. I think the one that was taken from the Ramesseum and is now in the British Museum was a large statue.
How big was that?
I think. Well, they say that the statues at the Ramesseum were up to 1,000 tons. I'm not sure, but they're really big, really big.
1,000 tons. Look at that.
Well, I wouldn't want to say 1,000 tons, but I would say they were extremely heavy.
Now, what is the conventional speculation as to how the symmetry was achieved?
I've heard different ideas where you take a mirror and then you kind of match it to, when it guides your hand, and another one where you take a pointer and you set a depth and then you transfer that from one side to the other. And those are, I don't know anybody who is a precision manufacturer who would accept such an explanation. And really, at the end of the day, you have to say, okay, well, show me, and we'll match. Show me, and we'll check yours and compare it to the original. That's the only way to solve the problem.
And so this is just one example of one of the mind-blowing mysteries involved in this culture. That they had some kind of capability of not just doing that, and not just making the vases, but also making the pyramids themselves, which are beyond comprehension.
It's huge. I mean, the thing is that you have. I wouldn't say not all engineers think alike, right? But I've never been with an engineer who has examined this subject and been to Egypt that is not absolutely blown away by what they're seeing, and are saying, no.
Oh my God! Please, come on, man.
All those kind of tolerances by hand. You look at the Ramses statue and you look at the symmetry. It's not two-dimensional symmetry. I mean, I was just measuring a two-dimensional photograph. It's not two-dimensional, it's three-dimensional. So that radius that we see going around the jawline is moving in 3 axes, right? X, Y, Z. And you're still coming up with a radius, perfect radius.
Crazy.
Nuts.
Yeah. So let's go to the pyramid itself. So you have a very fascinating hypothesis as to what the pyramid, or theory, as to what the pyramid actually was. And it's based on where the supposed king's chamber is, where those passages go through into it. And what do you think that thing was?
Well, my first book pretty much described what I thought it was in 1998, which was a power plant. The book is entitled Gyges Power Plant. My second book has evolved, and I describe it as an electron harvester. So, you know, it's kind of like, you could describe it as both, but and today, when you do, or, you know, people do, any decade, they think of a power plant and they see these huge chimneys with, you know, smokestacks.
Or a nuke plant.
Yeah, or a nuke plant, you know, or a power plant, dirty, nasty, unclean. But an electron harvester, clean, pollution-free, not a problem.
Has that been achieved conventionally? I mean, today? Is there a thing called an electron harvester?
I think that actually, when you look at a generator, that's an electron harvester, because we don't create electrons, we just harvest them. It's just how we do it. And so, you know, when you say an electron harvester, you could say that, you know, say a wind generator.
Come on, man. Like what? Come on.
You collected electrons that come to,
And that's where the electricity comes from.
and that's your electricity.
Right. Or hydroelectric, you use
Right,
the flow
right.
of the water.
Yeah, you don't create the, you just release it.
You harvest it from a process.
You harvest it through a process.
And the process that you think they used in the Great Pyramid involved those shafts?
It involves a lot of things. Yeah, it's not just one single thing. It's a system, not a single thing. So when you look
Can we show a photo of that? Do we have a photo of the pyramids and the shafts and where the king's chamber is? I know you've described this before. Do you have a photo?
I do. It's in the.
Okay, this is perfect. This works.
Yeah,
So,
that works.
So these names, the King's Chamber and the Queen's
It's
Chamber,
not
you
it.
don't think that that's actually a King's Chamber or a Queen's Chamber. You think it's something else.
Well, out of respect to the Egyptians, I
Call it what they say
call
it
them
is.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
But I do have a different terminology for them as they function.
Now, the initial
hate this game.
surface of the Great Pyramid is covered in
Oh, you
smooth
good?
limestone, right? So it's polished and shiny, and apparently it would collect insane amounts of light.
The outer surface of the Great Pyramid mostly is missing, and,
Right.
but it has been described as if it was finished, and depending on the polish of it, yeah, it could. It could reflect a lot of light.
Do you think that that had something to do with the design of this power plant?
I don't think there's
Come on.
any
Like, come
part
on,
of
dude.
that pyramid that did not serve a practical function.
Okay, so this is the image that you have here, and what this image shows
Wow,
us
that
is
was the
King's
boost I
Chamber,
needed.
The various shafts, the southern shaft, the northern shaft, and these shafts have been described as portals to stars because people have looked up through there, and you go through the shaft and see stars. But what you're saying is something entirely different. What do you think these shafts were for?
Well, I think they serve two different purposes. Actually, four different purposes, if you will. Because in the theory that I propose, which is, I don't know, it's speculation. The whole process is kind of like a heuristic process where you're grabbing information, you're moving ahead. It doesn't matter what source you're getting it from.
Right.
Because when you are looking for answers, you look everywhere. You try and find, you look everywhere. So when I was going through the process of trying to figure it out, I was collecting information. And one of for the southern shaft and the northern shaft of the King's Chamber, that was a huge mystery to me. And
Come on, man.
and I tried
Like
to
this game, dude.
fit it into what were they doing? I mean, if you look at the details, the facts of their design and what the ancient Egyptians were doing, why they designed them that way, you have two conduits coming into the chamber, but they're not connected to the chamber. And we didn't even know they existed until 1872 or Wayman Dixon.
So they're coming into the chamber, but they don't enter into the chamber. So they stop.
Their original design had the shafts ending 5 inches before coming into the chamber. So you had like 5 inches of limestone that was left in the block.
So did someone remove that limestone?
Yes.
Why did they do that?
Wayman Dixon, because they were examining the chamber and they were poking around. And Wayman Dixon, it is reported, so the legend goes, noticed a crack in the wall. And so he took a rod and pushed it through the crack. And the rod, it didn't need any resistance, it kept going. So he had his worker come in, Bill Grundy, with a hammer and chisel, and say, chisel the limestone around that.
People are stupid.
So, well, they did, yeah, they didn't have ultrasonic thickness.
No, but still, goddamn, to have the arrogance to go and chip away at the pyramid.
Well, you look at how, I don't care for revisionist historians because, you have to consider what people were doing, their mindset in the day. And then I try to look at on the bright side of things. Like, I don't look at it as a negative thing because if somebody hadn't opened up those shafts, we wouldn't know about them.
Right. Come on, man.
And,
why?
Same with
why?
Same with the chambers above the King's Chamber. Without Howard Vyse and his military expedition blasting his way up into the pyramid, we wouldn't know about them either. You won't be. I mean, there's a lot there. I think there's a lot there right now, and it's being investigated now. But there's things that have been revealed through scanning, like muography, the Scan Pyramid Project. They found that large void above the Grand Gallery.
Right.
And so,
which is larger than the King's Chamber, right?
It's longer than the King's Chamber, yeah.
And so that's not even represented here.
It's about the size of the cabin on a Boeing 707.
Wow. So if these shafts came through and then they met limestone at the end, what do you think was going on?
In order to
why? What was that guard doing there? Like, what?
I had to look at the rest of the pyramid, okay? What was it doing? And how was it functioning? And so one of the key pieces of evidence that I used to propose a process that was going on is the northern shaft. And the northern shaft has dimensions and has an appearance that is similar to a waveguide that you would use for microwave. And the dimensions of it would approximate the wavelength of time.
Explain a waveguide. How does that work?
Yes, it's like a waveguide is to transmit microwave. Electromagnetic energy, in the microwave region, and it is passed more efficiently through like a tube, a waveguide. That's what they use. I mean, they're very complicated systems.
And so, how did this represent, in your mind, what a waveguide looks like?
Actually, the idea of a waveguide came to me from a guy we were talking about the pyramids, and I used to carry, you know, schematic of the Great Pyramid in my back pocket. And I meet an engineer, and I go, hey, come here. Start going through. So what do you think about this? Because, you know, I was looking for answers, suggestions, brainstorm, anything, right? And it's like, so these shafts right here, and he looks at it, and he was into electronic engineering, and he's like, they look like waveguides to me. And I thought, well, that's interesting. They look like waveguides. Okay. What if they are waveguides? How did they function? I mean, what were they used for? What were they using waveguides for in ancient Egypt? And so I started to go down that rabbit hole. And that led me to the Queen's Chamber. I said, okay, waveguides, you need a medium. You need microwaves to go through a waveguide. What frequency of microwave was it, right? And look at the dimensions, and you come up with a match for hydrogen.
How do you do that? How do you come up with a match for hydrogen through the dimensions?
Yeah,
Look at this game,
the
man.
wavelength of hydrogen is 8.309 inches, and the width of the northern shaft is 8.40. A waveguide generally has the wavelength and then about half of the wavelength in height, so it's a rectangular shaft.
Just like all the shafts are.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Queen's Chamber shaft is a little more square than the King's Chamber.
So it had a different function.
Different. Well, yeah.
So these waveguides, you believe, what are they collecting, and where are they getting it from?
Good question, Joe. They had we are bombarded with microwaves every day. I mean, it's the signal from, they say, the Big Bang. It comes from atomic hydrogen out in the universe and outer space. But
So we're being bombarded, and you believe that these
We're bombarded.
passages
So-
were collecting this.
Yeah, so anyway, so then you say, okay, if we build a device and we say, and we want to energize hydrogen, we bring it to a higher energy state, just like, in a laser, where you have microwave amplification through stimulated emission. So if we want to collect energy that is in a gaseous medium, say that is hydrogen medium, and the electrons in the hydrogen are pumped up to a higher energy state, and we want to collect the energy in that, introduce a microwave signal, direct it through that gas, and stimulate the emission of the energy, collect that energy, and shoot it up the solar chip. And so that was like, okay, that might work.
So what kind of gas?
Hydrogen.
And so where are you getting the hydrogen from?
Queen's Chamber.
So there's hydrogen in the Queen's Chamber, and how does it get in there?
The shaft. But it doesn't come in as hydrogen. That's a part of the theory in the Gyges power plant. There are two chemicals that are introduced into the chamber, and the chemicals mix and they boil up hydrogen.
And these chemicals are just coming from the radioactive waves of space?
No. The chemicals, I believe, are manufactured and delivered to those shafts and coming.
Okay. So they add some sort of chemicals to it.
Right.
And what function does the limestone have at the end that keeps it from going into the King's Chamber? Keeps it blocked off?
Well, to answer that
Come
question,
on,
I was
man.
having a chat with a civil engineer who was putting in a septic system for me, and so with a leach field, and he was doing a percolation test, right? This is in Indiana, and Indiana is known for its fine limestone. His name was Roland Dove, a city engineer, and I asked him, I said, well, what do you do? How does this function? If you are in a area where where there's not much topsoil, you scrape away maybe a foot of topsoil, and then you're on the bedrock. What do you do then? And he said, well, if you are limestone is permeable, and basically you follow the same steps that you would as if you were digging into earth, just dirt. You dig a hole, put a hole in the limestone, and you determine how quickly the water
So dumb. Like, it's just how do I get a back boost? Like what? Like how do I get a back boost there? Like what?
So the limestone acts as a filter.
Not a well, I mean it would have filtered, yes, but definitely the water would not just stay there.
Right, it would go through.
It would go through it. But it would go through it at a certain rate. And I said, okay. I said, let me ask you this. How do you determine the flow rate? How would you determine the flow rate of a column of water, right, going through limestone? And he said, well, that would depend on the head pressure. How much pressure, what weight is pushing against the limestone.
Right.
Right? And I go, okay, that's interesting. So then I go back to the drawing boards, I go back to my blueprints of the Great Pyramid, and I'm looking at the southern and northern shaft of the Queen's Chamber, and I see that both of these shafts go up to an area that nobody knows.
No, I YOLO'd the door, but I got the back boost. Unless it's a miracle unpause.
But I was thinking, well, if they are feeding
what? Like it's just so
chemical,
fucking dumb. It's so
they would
fucking
need
dumb.
to be assured that they can maintain a particular head pressure. That would be calculated, the weight of the column of fluid. And essentially, as these are on an angle, calculations may get a little more complicated. But you figure it out, or you could do it by trial and error. But not all the evidence was in to really kind of solidify that theory, right? It's like, okay, I've got this much data. This is what I'm.
Alright, I might play for another 5 more minutes and then sign off.
I don't know. So what do we do? And then
maybe less.
In 1993, a German engineer, Rudolf Gantenbrink, he was invited to Egypt, and he was working under the German mission in Cairo, and he had permission they wanted him to actually get a robot, examine all those shafts with both the King's Chamber and the Queen's Chamber. Actually, no, mostly the King's Chamber. They wanted to ventilate the pyramid, and so they wanted to make sure that the shafts were clear, and that when they install their fans, that there won't be any obstruction. And so he built a robot to go through these, clean the shafts out, and then install fans in the King's Chamber. But it's always been a mystery in as far as the Queen's Chamber. Where did they end? Nobody knew. Nobody had explored them. So he proposed that they allow him to build another robot and examine the shafts in the Queen's Chamber, which he did that. He had a robot they called it Uport 2, which means the opening of the ways.
Yo, what's up, Close a lot? I'm about to sign off though, buddy. Sorry, buddy.
He had a tether behind it, and
I'm about to sign off in like 3 minutes. Sorry, dude.
It was like a track there, and there was a mechanism
It's fucking calling you a caveman? What?
And they found where it ended after a few kind of obstacles. One being what he called a tank trap, which was like a depression in the floor of the shaft, about a drop of about 2 inches, which is another story entirely. I don't think the full truth of why that is there has been figured out yet or explained, but they're working on it. And so his robot got so far up the shaft, and they discovered that there was a block.
Yeah, buddy, this is the Chris Dunn episode. The New Egypt episode that you said you talked about?
I don't know.
So a person hasn't gone over there and got a sample of it. It's not really, it's just
I don't know.
There's some kind of metal fix.
They assumed that they would come.
And how far is it from the outside edge of the pyramid?
Well, you do ask an awkward question. I don't have that information from me. But I would say that if you are wanting to reach the end of the...
You watch some of it? Yeah, buddy, it's nice.
The shortest
I like it a lot.
you could take would be through a horizontal path.
I haven't watched this explanation of what he thinks about the pyramid, so I gotta rewatch it.
Just a horizontal path.
Okay.
Going up, going down.
Can I see the image again, please? So what we're looking at when you're seeing the shafts.
Yeah, honestly, maybe, dude.
I want to see what it looks like on the outside. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So say it again. What would be the best way to access it?
Yeah, I mean, if you go to the end of the shaft and just have a short horizontal shaft going or passage going out to the outer face, you would have a shorter distance than if you went up, or down. So that would be the ideal place.
Wow, like that was still 17.
But it doesn't go. This makes it look like it goes all the way
You
to the
moron.
Well,
Not you, I mean, that's what Stream Elements called you. I can't believe AI is getting that aggressive, man. You literally just said Joe Rogan, right?
So the Queen's Chamber shaft, it stops quite a bit before the outside edge of the pyramid.
Right.
So both of them function in a different way.
Yeah.
And so you feel like
aggressive
the shaft, that something was poured in, some kind of chemicals was poured into those shafts. Queen's Chamber.
Yo, what's up, CSG?
Not the King's
Am I in on this? Oh my god, dude.
What is the difference, and why do you think that there was
Oh my god, dude.
King's Chamber?
Because the Queen's Chamber was a reaction chamber.
I don't know, maybe 40 on this level now.
The hydrogen
on Switch.
fills the interior spaces of the Great Pyramid, and also which included the King's Chamber. And then through the different actions, whether it be the Freund effect, which we can talk about, and that's the release of electrons from the lithosphere, or the
Thanks, buddy. Thanks, man. Appreciate that, dude. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really close. I have like 100. I have like 117s.
Centered or focused into the King's Chamber, it created a highly energized atmosphere.
So it was. Have they found access to the northern and southern shafts in the Queen's Chamber? To the shafts. Have they found
the boost out, yeah.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
No.
But they have found something that's not represented on this image.
Oh wow, insane.
Another chamber, right, which is more recent.
Nice, man.
I mean,
If you're
my
man.
new book has updated
Nice.
images in it to describe what new has been discovered.
And that new chamber is above the King's Chamber, is that correct?
It's actually above the Grand Gallery.
Okay.
And it kind of wraps around, or
Nice.
close to.
So you have 21 on Switch?
That's an interesting
Pardon my ignorance.
Which prompted my
Sorry.
research associate Eric Wilson
N64, nice, dude.
to suggest that
Heck yeah, man.
that actually feature,
Crazy.
what he thinks it is, would complete my theory because it would serve as a preamp for the micro.
Nice, man.
So the micro, he said that was the thing that was missing in my theory, was that there was no preamp.
So is there an image that we can look at that shows where this new chamber, the newly discovered, I should say, chamber?
Could I take a break?
Yeah, sure.
I need to go to the...
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be right back.
All right.
So you were just discussing the chambers and how
That's awesome.
you believe
That's huge.
fluid was in the shafts of the Queen's chamber, and that it somehow or another created hydrogen
Truly epic.
with these chemicals. How is the microwave going through those chambers if it's blocked off from the outside? Is it penetrating through the stone?
Well, it doesn't go into the Queen's chamber, so that's it through the King's chamber shafts, which are open.
Okay, so the King's chamber shafts is what's collecting the microwaves. The Queen's chamber shafts have what you believe some chemicals in there.
Right.
And then what is happening with those chemicals?
They're mixing and boiling up hydrogen.
Okay, so they're creating hydrogen.
Right.
And what is the function of the space in those shafts? Is that help the chemical process?
I do play on N64, my friend.
Where they're filling them up with liquid?
Oh, yes.
I do, my friend.
That is predetermined to make sure that it maintain the head pressure. The fittings, or the metal fittings, I describe as switches, like fluid switches.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do, my friend.
When the fluid or the chemical was covering those metal fittings, I call them electrodes.
I have a 27 bunker 1 agent.
When the fluid level dropped,
Ha.
It would open the circuit.
Not very good.
And signal the need for more chemicals to be pumped in order to maintain the head pressure, in order to make sure that there is an accurate supply of that chemical.
I don't find that funny.
That chemical would cool up inside of the Queen's chamber?
Bunker 2, I mean, yeah.
I mean, we don't. There's
Bunker 2, yeah, that's what I mean.
Missing from the Queen's chamber. You have a niche in the east wall.
Yeah. I've mainly just played like Aztec 00 and Bunker 1 Secret Agent. Those are my ones I spent the most time on, I guess. Oh, that would have been it, maybe. That could have been it.
Can you show me the image?
Fuck.
And so here we have, so there's the chemicals.
I'm just messing around, man. My best times are Aztec 00, 140, and Bunker 1 Secret Agent 23 I got recently, blessedly.
The King's chamber is vibrating.
Yeah, I was just messing around with Bunker 1 or Bunker 2. Nice, man. Yeah, buddy.
How so? How does that work?
Thanks, man.
Well, a coupled
Thanks a lot, man.
oscillator is a device that's
Yeah, buddy.
a larger vibrating device.
Oh, Aztec is the best, man. It's the best level. It's the best experience.
What is causing the King's chamber to vibrate?
The passage of vibration through the pyramid.
Of the Earth.
Of the Earth, which is...
Yeah, I'm just like procrastinating with this like bullshit. I'm just messing around. I gotta go back to like Aztec 00 on N64. I gotta go back to it, man.
So if you
gotta
got
do
the
it.
subterranean chamber, that serves one function. You go up to the Queen's chamber, that serves another function. You go up to the King's chamber, that serves another function. And in between, you have the Grand Gallery, the Ascending Passage, all of these things are there for a reason.
And so the subterranean chamber, how do you think that worked?
I would speculate that.
Nice. What other times do you have?
If you read Tesla and some of his writings, he suggests that.
Okay, not grinding. Yeah, I hear you.
Very little energy, you could build a device
Hear you, man.
that imparts energy or thrust into a structure, and if it is in harmony or the exact frequency
Oh, nice.
with that structure, it could bring the structure
Nice.
down just by an accumulation.
Oh, I think I saw those. I think I saw those PBs as they had happened.
And if you kept pounding,
Congrats, those are great.
pounding it, eventually it would open down. I mean, that was.
Oh wow,
why they,
Jungle A54, nice.
They instructed soldiers when they're on the march to break step when they cross a bridge, because their footsteps might
SA 1 minute, nice.
cause the bridge
Wow, insane.
to oscillate and destroy. It's a very destructive force. This
nice.
Frequency, though.
Oscillating vibration.
Oscillating vibration. Yeah.
So, what kind of device in the subterranean chamber would do that?
He built a device that delivered.
Yeah, really.
And powers. It was electromagnetic.
Yes, that is the life.
Right. You could do it electromechanical, electrohydraulic, or anything. But you have to be able to time the action. And so, okay, you think of it like you've got a device, you've got a cylinder, you've got a shaft coming out of it, and you've got a hammer, or you've got a pop a pad or whatever at the end of it, and you design it so that shaft is going to push out at a particular frequency. So
Come on, man, like this fucking game.
Boom, boom. And so you
Oh
my
god.
That structure has a natural frequency, right? All structures do. You might hit one with a fist and don't think it would resonate at all. If you go, the first strike may impart enough energy to move something maybe a couple of angstroms, right?
Yeah, that's the life.
It's very, very
It's the dream.
Right. The next one will move it a little more. Then you just keep pounding it.
But I'm about to like sign off in like a minute.
And as you pound it, the oscillations become bigger, the amplitude becomes bigger, and if you keep doing it, you bring the whole thing down.
So the key is to do it at a rate that is able to utilize the hydrogen.
Well, at this point, hydrogen.
Alright, man.
has nothing
Thanks.
to do.
Thank you.
I mean, this is
Appreciate it. You
just
too.
A totally separate
It's nice to you.
subsystem. It doesn't care if there's hydrogen.
Yeah, I mainly stream N64 though.
The subsystem exists to vibrate the king's pyramid.
Just to connect the pyramid with the earth.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm just doing this
it's
because
vibrating the pyramid.
if I could be the person to slay it,
The
that'd be
hydrogen
massive.
in the queen's chamber now, it makes its way into the king's chamber.
Well, yes. I mean, it flows up through along the horizontal passage, through the grand gallery and up into the kingdom.
Come on, this game,
all
man.
is connected.
Yeah, man, for
So
sure.
the-
Thanks.
The hydrogen goes up.
The dream. That's at
goes
least the
into
dream.
King's chamber, which is a phenomenal structure.
Right.
Carved out of granite from 500 miles away. Massive.
But you asked how many hours? I put 40 hours in Switch.
So what
And I put
happens with the
maybe
vibration of the pyramid through this thing
50
that's connected
to
the
80
subterranean chamber,
for 17
constantly
on
hitting,
on
boom, boom,
N64.
boom, vibrating.
Yeah.
The hydrogen flows into the great chamber. The king's chamber, where the king's chamber is vibrating, and then you have these shafts that come from the outside
Come
of the
on,
king's chamber
man.
into it. So
Right.
what's happening?
Okay. Well, let's go back to the
Subterranean.
All right.
Okay.
And let's talk about not what happens in the pyramid, but what is happening in the earth.
Okay.
All right? And this is where we introduced Tesla technology and also the work of a NASA physicist called Friedemann Freund. So Friedemann Freund has did research on earthquake lines, and his objective was to try to determine if we could detect or if we could have an early warning system for earthquakes. And he was using NASA satellites to survey the Earth and to observe for when earthquake lights
Some people.
show up. And his theory.
Some people get it
not
faster
really
though. I
theory,
mean, if you have bunker
but
121 or bunker 221,
fact,
you'll probably definitely get it
is
faster.
that in the minerals in igneous rock, you have these positive charge carriers that when they are stressed, they will shoot to the
For 17, I mean, I don't know if you have 17 or not.
They call them holes. He describes it as a new physics, but it's
Wow,
kind of
insane.
related to semiconductor physics, which is a little bit my head. But
That's truly
but still,
insane.
he's talking about releasing electrons from deep within the Earth, and those electrons, when they're stimulated to move, they move very, very quickly through the pyramid. Through the Earth, and they seek the highest point on the surface of the Earth. So you have Tesla on one side, and he's saying that if you could put like an earthquake machine and just drive frequency into the planet, you might be able to release the stresses in the Earth's crust.
I hear you.
And also reduce the possibility of an earthquake. I'm not saying eliminate it entirely, but at least...
You would release some pressure.
Yeah, you would release some pressure. And so, with that, it becomes, you put in these little bits of disparate information together and you combine them and you say, oh, maybe there's something here. I think the biggest discovery.
Come on, man.
Is
Like this game, bros.
Very much is Friedemann Freund's discovery of how the physics behind earthquake lights, and he actually experimented in his lab. He has there's a YouTube video with him. He explains it a lot better. You want to pull that up and watch it?
Well, we could. The problem is we'll get flagged.
Oh, okay then.
He uses YouTube video.
Oh, okay. All right. So for those who are listening, you can search Friedemann Freund and just Freund, F-R-E-U-N-D, and TEDx talk in Christchurch, New Zealand. So it's an excellent video.
Okay,
All right, this is the last one.
So something is happening in this subterranean chamber.
Yeah.
And this something is causing the pyramid and the earth around it to vibrate.
Mm-hmm.
And how is that affecting the
Like fuck you,
hydrogen?
boys.
And how is that affecting what's happening in the King's Chamber?
Okay, so you have a combination of you've got two different kinds of energy now.
Thanks for being here.
Okay.
Electromagnetic energy and
From the
also
ground.
got mechanical.
Right. Okay, so you've got the mechanical energy of this thing that's striking.
Right.
You have the passages that are filled with chemicals that's causing the accumulation of hydrogen. The hydrogen is making its way into the King's Chamber.
Right.
And then what is the function of these passageways that go into the King's Chamber from the outside?
Well, the
Thank you.
carries a microwave
It's
signal.
okay. It's a pretty insane
That
time.
signal passes through a amplifier, and then the
Thank you.
signal enters into the chamber and collects the energy that has been accumulating in that space. And it's like a laser or maser.
So the chambers are collecting microwave energy from space.
Yeah.
It's going through them. and it's going, excuse the passageways rather, it's going into the chamber, which is vibrating and it's filled with hydrogen. So what is this reaction that happens when these two things meet?
Okay, the action of that is the same as a laser, where you have the introduction of.
What's up, Gyges? Got a 1 second PV, buddy. Got 116 now instead of 117. But we're just warming up for freight day. I gotta get faster.